This is Essex. And this is the Essex Police Special Operations Unit.
This is literally the front line of policing.
I'm going back to my roots by joining this elite police unit as they tackle serious crime head on.
I found guns, but 5.9mm bullets.
I'll be with them every step of the way as they take to the front line of the county's crime. And with the help of some serious tech, you can join us. I'm Rav Wilding.
What a job.
And this is Frontline Police. On today's show,
I just hit me in the head, that did.
Special Ops hold their nerve when they go head-to-head with the English Defence League.
Missiles are coming over now. You see bottles are being thrown, so it's time to move back.
Police officer, can you talk to me?
I join Colchester's Alco cops on the front line in their battle with the Bingers.
I can see you've been sick. You're kind of laying in it a little bit.
And the response and patrol team are called to an armed siege.
You saying you got a knife on you, mate? Yeah, what? Yeah, look. You come through the door, cut me throat.
Well, I joined the army at 17 and I loved it. But I broke my leg quite bad and that was the end of that career. Then joined the police. I worked in Peckham for 8 years in total. Started off in uniform, went into CID. I worked on a number of high-profile cases, including arsons, GBH, murders and drug dealing. But now my life's taken a totally different path and it's time to come back and work with the police on the front line once again.
It's Friday afternoon and I'm being dropped in at the deep end. I've hooked up with Special Ops as they get ready to launch a drugs raid.
Operation Ripley, that's the name for today's operation.
Essex Police are aiming to crush the drug problem at source. They're hoping to catch the dealers.
They're all in quite close proximity, as you'll see on the map, so at this time of day anyway, to try and do a dynamic entry while still retaining some element of surprise.
Nobody joins the police to watch PowerPoint presentations, but the key to a smooth operation is preparation, and lots of it.
Because it's dynamic entry, that'd be full protective equipment.
So the team's going to do 3 addresses, 3 different warrants at exactly the same time. They're really going to go for the element of surprise on this one. The officers aren't taking any chances and sorry, but I'm not either.
Sitting in the carrier, the memories start flooding back.
They could potentially kick off with this one.
If you and Stu go upstairs.
They might be well briefed, but when the door goes through, there's no telling what they might find.
For the drug related, etc., you need as much information as possible. You never know how they're going to behave when you get through the door, or who's in there or who isn't.
Do the nerves start kicking in about this sort of time before you actually go and do the door?
I wouldn't say nerves, perhaps excitement really. It's what we're trained to do, and when you get to do it, you know, in the act, it's fun.
We're approaching our destination. When we arrive, there'll be no time to hang around. We'll be straight in. A hush falls around the carrier as the officers take a moment to compose themselves. You could cut the atmosphere with a knife.
Well, you could be getting ready to go out for a few drinks with your mates, so you could be doing this. Which one would you rather do?
This, definitely.
It's showtime. The key to a successful raid is a swift entry.
Please don't move!
In a matter of seconds, the whole street is swept by a wave of shouting and banging.
It's all about speed and it's all about the element of surprise.
Kitchen cat!
Cool, that's a big sounding dog. We'll see how close all the houses are. Got one over there. One just in the corner there. And then one just down here. All three exactly the same time.
Clear! Round 4 clear! It's detainer we've got, handcuffs on.
Word gets out, neighbours were sticking their heads out like meerkats. So they had to do it all at the same time and they had to do it quickly. There's the occupant of one of the houses there, actually.
He's coming to do this one first, yeah. We're here under the Misuse of Drugs Act. We've got a warrant to search the property in relation to that, OK?
So all 3 houses have been entered. The occupants have been detained. It's now up to the officers from Special Ops to conduct a thorough search.
Have you got anything here that you shouldn't have?
No, I've got grinder.
That's the fast bit done. Now it's slow time. A methodical search, looking for all the evidence. And that takes time. You can't do it quickly because if someone's going to hide something, they're going to put it where they think no one's ever going to find it.
I've got nothing.
So obviously you've gone into the address there. What's happening now?
We've detained the people, we've made sure that they're not able to interfere with anything so that we're able to then start a search. Next step is to get a drugs dog in to have a sniff round.
The drug dogs are pretty special. You know, their nose is something like 1,000 times more sensitive than ours.
Whilst the sniffer dog gets to work at Lee's address, I take a look at how the other units are getting on.
So what's happening with this address?
One person in there.
Yeah.
He was detained.
I saw a female came over.
That was the mother of the male that was in the property.
Okay.
I think it is her property.
So I'm just nervous. I don't like things like this.
8 strapping officers dressed in full riot gear marching through her front room has obviously put this woman on the back foot.
Don't get me wrong, I do smoke a bit of weed. I'm not going to lie, I do. But so what?
Despite her candid confession, no drugs were found in this lady's house.
If you're smoking cannabis, there you go. If you stop smoking, then there's more chance we won't be coming in here.
Looks like one of the occupants of the home has just turned up.
The sniffer dog has already been through 2 of the addresses with no sign of anything dodgy. We can only stand and wait as he turns his finely tuned hooter to the final house. Bingo.
So someone in the address has been arrested.
Yeah, 2 arrested for possession, I believe.
Looking around the street, I can feel a sense of relief from the neighbours. Even the innocent occupants of the 2 houses that were clear of drugs understood the police's actions. Living with drugs on the doorstep would give anyone nightmares. So the boys in blue have been welcome visitors.
Positive result in the fact that 2 people were nicked, but I bet you wish it was your 2.
Everyone inside our address was nice and compliant, but as a whole, the operation, 2 arrests resulted in.
It puts out a nice strong message as well to that lot, doesn't it? That if there is going to be any drug going on in that estate, you're going to find it.
Exactly.
Still to come on Frontline Police.
Still in there?
A domestic dispute turns into an armed siege.
He's had a bit of an argument with his girlfriend and it's all got out of control, really.
Response and patrol hunt for a knife-carrying teenager.
If he's got 2 knives on him, we'd like to find him sooner rather than later.
Do not move. Calm down.
And I'm in at the deep end when Special Ops clash with the English Defence League.
Those officers that are getting absolutely pelted with missiles are going in to help someone who's been hurt. Simple as that.
I'm in my first week back with the force and I've already been out on a drugs raid with Special Ops.
Please don't move!
It was a white-knuckle ride down memory lane for me and a seriously rude interruption to this couple's Friday evening. But not every day in the force is about putting on the riot gear and smashing down doors. The police are also a frontline emergency service ready to respond to when the public dial 999.
It's a disturbance at an address in Langdon. This is the fun now, trying to find the number house.
Matt and Sam have been asked to attend a domestic. Concerned neighbours have reported a heated argument between a mother and her daughter. When you're a frontline officer, you never know what to expect when you knock on that door. Looks like this domestic has become a manhunt.
Daughter's gone off now to her dad, so I'm quite happy to get the dog and then we'll deal with that side of it. Don't let him get run over.
Well, they say you should never work with animals or children. When you're a copper, it's part of the job description.
It was never a dull moment, eh? God, thank God she had a harness, so we'd never have got it back.
Fortunately, the domestic they were called out to attend has worked itself out of its own accord.
Because it's only an argument as such, then there's not a lot more we can do, really.
With Buster redeployed to sofa-chewing duties, Matt and Sam get back on the move. A call has come through about an outpatient from a local mental health unit. He was discharged today, but has returned to the clinic drunk.
He wants to get arrested or have us sit with him all night, basically. So he's one of them.
Two officers from Harlow are already on the scene. The man is reported to be very distressed, so the matter has to be dealt with carefully.
What's going on today, then, mate?
Just a little bit. I got discharged this morning, but went home and my head flipped. The only people who actually get help from is the police force. The police force not just here to nick you, they're here to help you.
Yeah. What are you in for?
I've been in here in the A&E 3 times in the last 3 weeks for overdosing.
The man is far too drunk to be readmitted to the clinic. The only option Matt and Sam have is to take him back to the station until he sobers up.
Yeah. Scary.
You're not going under arrest. We're just going to go there, you're going to sober up, then we're going to get you the help you need, all right?
Dealing with people with mental health issues is just another element of the officer's day-to-day duties.
Yeah, but probably had 5 or 6 calls to him. Sometimes it'll be 3 times a night. He'll call us and we'll go round. And the problem is that it's very difficult as a police officer to walk away if someone's saying they're suicidal.
Frontline policing doesn't have to be about making arrests. The compassion that this man received from Matt and Sam today means he'll get the specialist treatment that he needs. Back on patrol, a call has just come through about a domestic. A woman claims she has been assaulted by her boyfriend, and the Sarge has called for backup to arrest him. When they arrive at the scene, it's obvious that this isn't going to be a simple arrest. The girlfriend who claims to have been assaulted has been taken to safety, but the man is refusing to come quietly.
You open the door? Why?
The chap inside is wanted for a domestic assault. If we know that he's in there and he's wanted, we have the power to enter if he refuses to answer the door, which he's doing at the moment. You can hear him obviously being incredibly abusive through the door, and he's winding his dog up as well in preparation for us to go in.
Are you still in there? I'm sorry, I'm Where are you?
The police want to avoid making a forced entry. An officer is acting as negotiator to hopefully end the incident peacefully.
We need to come in and speak to you anyway, don't we?
It's just
Right here. You right. live with that, and you live with that. You saying you got a knife on you, mate? Yeah, right here, look. I'll cut my throat. I'm not threatening none of you with it. You come through the door, I'll cut my throat.
We might have to get to
This is becoming a serious situation.
Obviously, he's making threats with the knife that he's going to hurt himself if we try and force entry. So, the likelihood is we're going to call up for a taser unit to come and assist, just to officer safety, really.
Despite the negotiators' efforts, it's looking likely that the response unit are going to have to go in by force.
Certainly he's looking at barricading himself up at the moment and possibly nailing him wood to the other side of the door and checking all the exits are sealed, really. And it's all stemmed from something relatively minor. He's had just a bit of an argument with his girlfriend and it's all got out of control, really.
What do you turn the lights off for?
basically decided to turn all the lights off inside. We've asked him why, and he's just said, well, when you put the door in, I've got my knife in it. me. And obviously it's now been cast as like a firearms incident, so we've all changed to a separate channel, and this job's being run entirely on its own, away from all the other jobs that are happening at the moment.
The taser unit have arrived on the scene.
I think they're looking to force entry quite soon. The supervisor and control rooms just cleared the use of possible distraction devices, so things like flashbangs. Just because obviously if it is pitch black in there and they can't find him, they need to distract him at some point when they enter.
The waiting is over. Everything's in place to force an entry. The negotiator gives the man one last chance.
Come back downstairs and talk to us. If you're bored, yeah, just come out. What you're going to do is open the door and stand back. Come on, mate.
A wave of relief washes over the officers.
Well done for coming out, mate. Alright, whatever. Just sick death of it, mate, to be honest with you. Alright. Well, I ain't got nothing on me. I'm checking, mate. Where's the knife? I'll put him in the sink.
The situation has been peacefully resolved.
I won't be there for the birth or anything, mate. Me and you are done.
It was just, I think he got a bit sort of red mist cleared a bit, and he had a second thought. Obviously you can see the wheels in motion that would have happened. We weren't far off. We had a taser unit arrived, and thankfully the officers done a good job at just coaching him out, really.
Matt and Sam were ready to put it all on the line today, but thanks to some serious negotiating, everybody walked away unscathed. As they call time on another shift, on the other side of the county, my day is just beginning. And believe me, if there's one thing I don't miss about my days in the force, it's the early starts.
After in the morning, we're at a covert location in Essex and the officers have just had a briefing. They're going to attend a march today and assist other officers up in Bedfordshire. Hopefully it'll be peaceful, but they still can't take any chances and they're kitting up because these things can turn ugly.
Today the unit are on public order duty in Luton. They'll be policing a march organised by the right-wing group, the English Defence League. The EDL are planning a massive march to mark their 3rd anniversary, and past form suggests it could turn nasty. Previous marches have seen officers injured and multiple arrests when missiles started to fly.
I was involved in some public order situations when I was in the police. This particular march I've not done before.
It's going to be a massive multi-force operation that will see the Essex Special Ops teaming up with 19 constabularies from across the country. I've spotted a few familiar faces, so I catch up with Sergeant Lee Duval to gauge the mood for today's operation.
You just had the briefing inside. What happens now for you and the team?
Next phase is to get everybody into the buses and on the way to the next phase briefing, which will actually be on site at Luton.
Are you the only sergeant that will be on there?
Yeah, I'm the only sergeant which will be on this particular carrier, but every carrier has their own sergeant attached to it.
Well, it's obviously really, really early this morning, but the mood looks pretty good in the bus. Is this typical?
Yeah, it's early, but it's good atmosphere, good banter.
Also playing a vital role in the operation are the officers and horses from the Mounted Division.
So how much of you is going to be protected then when you're actually out there? Our chest, our back, our arms, and our heads as well. So pretty much most of our
everything,
bodies.
Yeah. You can't really take any chances because obviously a lot of the time it can turn a bit hostile.
Yes, it can do, just in a matter of seconds really.
Do you still get nervous?
I wouldn't say nervous, apprehensive. At the end of the day, you're riding a horse, and as much as we train the horse, you're still an animal at the end of the day, and they still have their own feelings and thoughts, and when they get scared, it's our job to sort of say, everything's all right.
It's time to roll out. I've hitched a ride with the Mounted unit and the journey gives me time to think. With an estimated 3,000 EDL members turning up and only half as many police, I just hope that the day doesn't turn nasty. The march is due to start at 1 o'clock and the crowd is starting to grow and drink. As we move into position, I can already feel my pulse rising.
Well, I'd say there's got to be at least a couple of thousand here already, and the numbers are growing all the time, so you can see why they need a big visible police presence, just to make sure everything runs smoothly, and hopefully that's what's going to happen.
I've never attended a march like this before. The biggest event I policed was the Notting Hill Carnival, and that was all about having a good time. These guys seem to have a serious agenda.
Every the age of all the religions this country is not though. Anglo-Saxon rights, you know what I mean? EDL are not violent, we're not racist, it's religion.
Whether you agree with their views or not, it's their right as British citizens to protest peacefully. And on the other side of town, a counter-march is also being held by anti-fascist group We Are Luton.
We've got the EDL behind us over there that are gathering in huge numbers, and then the other side of town you've got the opposition, if you like, who have the complete difference of opinion and don't want or believe in what the EDL do. So that's when you can have problems, and the police are there to stop them at getting in the middle and make sure they stay separately and don't have any trouble. Good luck, stay safe. This is literally the front line of policing. There's no one else that can get in front of these guys. They are it. This is what it's all about.
Still to come. The march turns sour as tempers and bottles start to fly.
Calling for a medic, someone's obviously in a bad way.
And a neighbour's dispute becomes a matter for response and patrol.
Until he done what he done to my door, he is no longer a mate.
And a night on the town with Colchester's party police leaves me stone cold sober.
The officers could arrest that person.
Another Essex police unit is about to go on duty. PC Paul Lockyer.
I'm not as old as you, because we're in this one.
And PC Anthony Brackett, just back after a year's sick leave.
Yeah, I managed to dislocate my ankle and break it in 3 places at rugby. It was only my 3rd or 4th game back as well, so I've had plenty of people telling me I was too old and shouldn't have gone back playing, but there you go. Someone's trying to tell me something.
It's not long before their first job gets called in.
Yes, all same. A young lad following a domestic argument apparently has fled, but he may have 2 knives on him. Sorry, 1 unit at the scene already, but they obviously need people to try and track the young lad down. If he's got 2 knives on him, we'd like to find him sooner rather than later.
A commander in the control room will monitor the situation carefully. Any incident involving weapons is taken very seriously indeed.
We'll consider taser authority if need be, but there's no suggestion that he's actually been aggressive at this time, so there's every opportunity that we could deal with it ourselves.
Paul and Anthony can't get there soon enough. There's a worrying development.
Young man's called police, not identified where he is, but said that if police approach him, he'll stab them.
Arriving on scene, there's no time to hang around. Anthony's going to search on foot, but he'll have to keep his wits about him. Their protective vests are only stab resistant, not stab proof.
They don't want anyone to approach Sussex just to contain in relation to taser at this time, and I think that's just to do with the additional threats that he made.
Half a mile away, Paul spotted a youth matching the description of the one they're after.
They're with the male.
Stay calm, hands on the bonnet, hands on the bonnet. Do not move, calm down.
It's an early test for Anthony's dodgy ankle.
Calm down, calm down. A few deep breaths for me, mate. No one's getting nicked at the moment, we need to make sure you're okay.
The welfare of the vulnerable youth is paramount, but police must also find the knives as quickly as possible.
Whereabouts do you put the knives?
You hit them in a bush. And at the moment, my main concern is you, and what I want to do is if you can point out where the knives are, I know that some young boy's not going to pick them up and hurt himself.
The lad agrees to take the officers to the knives.
He's very upset, he's very stressed out.
Stay nice, calm.
Let's get these knives and get you back to Mum, yeah?
And he's just pointed out where he's discarded the knives. More concerned with getting back to his mum at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to secure these in the back of the vehicle. He's calmed down now and he's being very cooperative.
Top work. By using their heads and acting in a calm and compassionate manner, Paul and Anthony have managed to turn around a very disturbing situation. And the other good news is, Anthony's ankle passed its fitness test.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm probably not as fit as I should be, but I'm fit enough to do my duty.
I've joined the Essex Special Ops as they police a march held by the right-wing group, the English Defence League. It's estimated that there are 3,000 people joining today's protest, and it seems that most of them have been drinking. I haven't seen a crowd this psyched up and raring to go since I was a Harrods security guard on the first day of the January sales.
Alcohol's flowing. You can see here the outer cordons come right in close now because they can anticipate potential trouble, so they're just getting that bit closer, a visible presence.
It's only a matter of moments before the first flashpoint.
Some of them are getting too eager, they've pushed through the police line, and now it's up to the police to go in and get the troublemakers and bring them back. Yeah, Lee's right in the thick of it. Here he is, big lump in the middle.
I know, yeah?
We're all right, yeah. This has got the potential to really kick off. And soon, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the message out to the officers to put their public order helmets on.
The EDL claimed to be about peaceful protest. I don't think this lot got the message. The atmosphere has taken a real turn for the worse.
It's just got hit in the head by that.
That was too close for comfort.
Just got hit on the head by a missile, something just hit me. So bottles are coming over. Some of them have obviously had too much to drink, so the police are just retreating.
This is a volatile situation and it could blow up at any moment. It's time we move back.
It is for the police. They're obviously outnumbered by the crowd. Another bottle come flying in. What a job. Just another day at the office.
The skirmishes are coming through in waves. As soon as one hotspot is calmed,
there we go. Looks like they're holding them there now.
Another one breaks out elsewhere.
Scuffle's gone off there.
It was only going to be a matter of time before somebody got injured.
Those officers that are getting absolutely pelted with missiles are going in to help someone who's been hurt. Simple as that. So the officers just had a call now to put the public helmets on. Missiles are coming in. It's just not worth taking the risk anymore.
The march has been going for well over an hour and has finally reached its destination. But the police can't relax yet. The counter-march is still threatening to crash the party and the situation could flare up at any moment.
Well, there is obviously another march going on in another part of town, and what we don't want is for this lot to meet that lot.
It's times like this that you have to dig deep as a police officer. You have to leave your personal views at home and just get on with the job.
The police are completely impartial. They don't particularly care what they're marching for. They're there to keep the peace.
Thanks to the intense police operation, both marches eventually passed off with just 2 arrests. The only casualty from Lee's unit was this officer's trousers.
Burn mark there, what happened?
There's a firecracker flashbang thing that's thrown from the crowd, obviously, and exploded on my uniform there.
But he's got his leg guard on, so saved him on this occasion.
Lucky boy.
It's dangerously close to his tackle, actually, isn't it?
It's very close. On the whole, a successful day?
Yeah, absolutely. Achieved what we wanted to achieve, so yeah, successful.
The Essex Police Response and Patrol Unit are on the front line of everyday policing. When a 999 call comes through, they are the officers dispatched to the emergency. It's a Wednesday afternoon and the response and patrol late shift has just begun.
You know, we're fluid in where we go, so anywhere in the county, in theory.
Come on in, everyone sort themselves out.
One of my old trainers at training school once said to me, if you break your leg, you call the ambulance. If your house is on fire, you call the fire brigade. And for anything else, you call the police.
Officers will do whatever it takes to give themselves an edge over the criminals. PC Al Kelly has got a Class A gym addiction.
I think it's important to stay fit. There's so much you can do with your mouth and there's so much that you can calm people down, but sometimes it does unfortunately just result in having a roll around on the floor.
Sounds like Al's fit and ready for anything. I just hope he doesn't need to hustle his muscle at the job that's just been called through.
Yeah, all received.
There's been a disturbance at a private address. It's been reported that an argument has turned physical and a window's been broken.
One of the early turn cars was sent to this address after a female called up and said that damage had been caused to one of their windows, and the call taker could hear a disturbance in the background. So if he is there, he's arrestable for the damage.
Stokes must be the road up.
Finding the address isn't easy.
Mate, is this all Polsteads? Where's Stokes? Is that the one behind?
This estate is like a maze.
Hello. What's happened? What's happened to your front door, to start with?
Punched it and headbutted it.
Right, okay. Let's do some inquiries to try and find him first, all right, and then we'll come back. Right, we've got an address.
A quick check confirms the suspect's address. It's time to hear his side of the story.
We'll just do a knock on, see who comes to the door, try and find out if he's here.
It sounds like there's somebody in the house. Simon covers the garden, just in case the suspect tries to slip out the back. If the suspect refuses to open the door, then they could force entry.
Hello, how you doing, buddy? You alright?
Yeah.
We're coming to have a quick chat, buddy.
Come in. I knew this was going to happen.
Did ya? You're aware of why we're here, yeah?
I know I've had an argument with the people down the road and they threatened to call the police on me, but I don't know much more than that, innit?
Pane of glass in the window has been damaged, alright? They're saying that you're responsible for that. And
it's been broken for a couple of days.
I'm not saying you've done it. What I'm saying is that the allegation is that you've done it. As a result of that allegation, you are under arrest at the minute on suspicion of criminal damage, alright?
A complaint was made. Although the man arrested denies the charges, the police have a duty to investigate further.
Yeah, man.
He answered the door, I asked him who he was, he admitted straight away who he was, and he was good as gold.
With the suspect en route to the local nick, Simon and Al are back out on patrol. As evening turns to night, another call comes over the radio. There's been another domestic. This time a woman has been seriously injured.
There's a suspect for a domestic assault. They're asking for another unit just to go and arrest the suspect.
Al and Simon have been called to attend an alleged domestic assault. The female victim is going to identify the suspect with another unit. Simon and Al have to sit up and wait.
So they're just going to do a drive-by now. She's going to point out the address.
The suspect has been spotted walking back to his home. It's up to Simon and Al to arrest him. At times like this, 101 thoughts rush through an officer's head. If he panics, anything could happen.
She's just straight ahead of her. Just favour, mate. Just pop your arms up for us for a minute.
You're under arrest on suspicion of assault. You don't have to say anything about how much defence you mention one question. Something which you don't rely on court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence.
Textbook. They had the bloke in cuffs before he knew what hit him.
Quite happy with that?
It just doesn't matter if they're 18 stone or 8 stone. If you give them the chance, they'll run and be away on the toes.
So far, the shift has seen 2 disturbances, both involving domestic disputes. But thankfully, not every call to response and patrol is quite as serious.
Somebody's called up saying that they've found a male walking in the street in a pair of shorts, and there he is.
There's another unit on hand and they've already stopped the man.
Is that your underwear you've got there, or is that a pair of shorts you've got on? Shorts.
Sorry mate, but where I come from, regular shorts don't have a flap at the front for easy access.
Where are you off to now then, mate? Well, you're walking home to Eastwood? That's a long old walk, isn't it?
Can't believe so it's only round here, isn't it?
Nah, mate, you're in Basildon.
How this man came to be walking in the rain at 2 o'clock in the morning, minus his trousers, is completely his own business. He is, however, the worse for drink, and the officers want to ensure he gets home safely.
Do you want us to give you a quick lift home? Yeah. Whereabouts do you live then?
Well, I guess that's one way of getting a free lift home, but I wouldn't try it myself. Coming up,
Language, and if you say any more,
you get arrested.
a night on the tiles ends in a night in the cells for this Gobby Go Lightly. Britain loves a drink. We knock back more booze on a night out than any other of our European neighbours. But just because we drink more, that doesn't mean we can handle it.
If you there, I'm going to nick you.
The nation's town centres are becoming booze-fuelled battlegrounds.
Idiots!
And it's up to the police to stamp out this menace. I've come to Colchester to cover a shift with the operational support as they take to the front line in the Battle of the Binge.
Thursday nights have become the new Friday night. It's become student night, and it's also become quite a popular night with servicemen.
Being ex-services, this is a town I know all about. Colchester is also home to the 9,000 students of the University of Essex, and if there's one thing that soldiers and students both know how to do, it's drink.
The first couple of years I was in the police, a lot of it was foot patrol, a lot of it was town centre patrols, public order style things. This is frontline policing at its most raw. Out on foot, dealing face to face with the public. And we just had a nice chilled out briefing in there, but in 10-15 minutes those officers could literally put in their lives on the line.
Tonight I'm out with the operational support group.
We're basically here to support frontline police officers on the street. We never know what we're doing from one day to the next, really, and sometimes from 1 hour to the next.
Keeps you on your toes?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. So you're handy in this one then, because you know Colchester.
I know the shops and the bars.
No time to sit and chat tonight though. We've only just got in the carrier and the OSG have had their first call.
We're going to a male who appears to be drunk in town. He's been in several licensed premises. I think he's been thrown out of some of them. And we're looking at maybe dispersing him potentially from the town centre to prevent any further problems. It's early days still, but maybe he was out early.
Is it someone that's known to you?
From what the local guy said, he is known to us for disorder in the town on previous occasions, so hopefully we'll nip it in the bud before it goes any further.
One of us, white t-shirt, got a jumper over his shoulder, yellow stripes down his Hello fella, just have a quick chat.
You haven't paid for your drink at the end of the day. You big
Language.
It's not even 9 o'clock and this smooth talking fellow is absolutely plastered.
What's this all over?
Local bars have complained that he's been making off without paying for his drinks.
Oi, language, and if you say any more,
you get arrested. Hey? One more and you get arrested. Do you want to get arrested or do you want to go home? It's up to you.
So the officer there, he's talking to him, he's being very calm, he's explaining exactly why he's causing a problem, and he's explaining to him if he doesn't move, he's potentially going to get arrested. At the moment, that guy's just not listening to it at all.
Watch your language, otherwise you'll get arrested anyway. Spend the night in the cells, you can go home. It's up to you.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, there is, because if you come back to this area,
you can't do no, listen, what for? I'm wrong.
That's one warning too many. He didn't listen, he had his chance, they pleaded with him, he weren't having it, he's been nicked.
Have you got anything on you that you shouldn't have? Anything sharp that's going to hurt myself or my colleague?
I've done nothing wrong.
This fella hasn't got a clue. If he'd just kept his mouth shut, he could be on his way home now.
I swear to God, I'm making a full complaint for nothing I haven't done. Now I'm making a full arrest, yeah? I'm making you done for assault. Every single one of you. What breaker, straight away. Well, what you lot do is nick everyone else for no reason at all.
And you just choose not to listen?
No, you choose not to listen. No one's got no choice but to listen.
Back at custody, and he's still at it.
I've done nothing wrong.
There's no need to be like this. Oi.
Stop being silly, mate.
The officers did not want to arrest this guy because straight away it's taking 2 of them off the streets, and that's what they're there to do, nice high visibility patrolling. They gave him so many chances and they pleaded with him and he didn't listen.
He's going to explain to me why you've been arrested.
What's important? Yeah, he touched my mate. He shouldn't touch me. He shouldn't touch me.
It's a bit of a long, lengthy process, one that I don't really miss, to be fair.
Yeah,
you're allergic to anything?
Yeah, it is like.
It's really important to give any prisoner a proper, thorough search as well. We've had special knives that have been in people's belts. Colleagues of mine have found guns that have been shaped like a pen that fires a 9mm bullet.
It's clear that Twinkle Toes isn't going to sober up anytime soon, so he's booked in for a night at the pleasure of the Essex Constabulary. Our gobby drunk has got a parting gift for Alex. Drunk, banged up, and now by spitting at an officer, he's looking at an assault charge as well. His mother must be so proud.
That's disgusting. You've got spit all down you. Yeah. Absolutely disgusting. The guys do have to keep their wits about them. They were trying to calm him down, they were trying to have a bit of a laugh and a joke with him at times, but they were always keeping their guard up because he could have flipped at any time. It's not nice, and it is very nasty, and you know, it just shows how dangerous their job is.
The night is still young for Alex and Beth. It's 11:30 and the pubs are chucking out. A call comes through about a girl, reported to be unconscious in a shop doorway.
Is it possible that she's taken anything, any drugs or anything like that?
Me all day. She hasn't taken not that.
Okay. Police officer, can you talk to me? Can you hear me? How much you had to drink, mate? A lot. I can see you've been sick. You're kind of laying in it a little bit.
Clearly had too much to drink. She's got sickle down her front. Exactly the sort of thing these guys are here to try and prevent. The officers could, if they wanted to, arrest that person. But what good's that going to do? You know, you're going to take 2 officers off the streets, you're going to tie up a cell. All they need to do really is get this person home.
A quick chat with the girl's mate reveals that their college course has become a bit too much and they decided to go on a stress-busting binge. I doubt she'll be in lessons tomorrow morning.
It's tied up. An ambulance now, 3 police officers taken off the streets to deal with it. It's going to cost the taxpayer an awful lot of money. It's going to tie up a hospital bed now. It's just the drink. It's all the drink. Poor paramedic, they just took her away. He said to me, he looked over to me and he said, "This is the bulk of our work." Yeah. Poor thing, that's what he's doing every day.
Talking about before. Friday, Saturday.
As another boozy evening comes to an end, Alex and Beth finally get a chance to draw a breath.
Good one for you.
Being spat at and dealing with sick people, it's lovely.
All of it down to alcohol.
Tonight I've been blown away by the courageous efforts of officers like Alex and Beth. No matter what abuse came their way, they simply turned their cheek and got on with the job. And that's been the story of my first week back. I've seen missiles hurled at officers by the very people they're trying to protect.
Those officers that are getting absolutely pelted with missiles are going in to help someone who's been hurt.
They put their lives on the line for people they'll never meet. And no matter what adversity came their way, they took it all in their stride.
At the moment, my main concern is you.
Calm down, calm down.
To us, they're heroes. But to the officers of the Essex Police Special Ops, it's just another day on the front line.